All right, so I recently had a project that needed a very narrow electrical box. So if you're in the same situation as I am, yes, there's measurements in the online listings, but it's really kind of still difficult to understand and know if the box will work for you without actually getting it in hand. So I just wanted to get some closer and different measurements that might be useful for other people that might be in the same situation as I am, which, by the way, I'm not a licensed electrician, but you want to consult your own licensed electrician or find out the rules and regulations in your area. So this is your normal 1 gang old box. I've seen different sizes of this. I think this one's rated for 14 cubic inches, and standard measurements was this, probably about 2 3/4 deep, and the width is about 2 1/4. Inside measurements, switch over to millimeters, so it's 52.21 millimeters roughly. Obviously this is not very scientific, and the height of the inside is 73 by 65, so pretty standard, great for most electrical switches and outlets. It's deep enough and has enough space for most people, but this is way too thick for my project. So I started going online and found this one that's advertised as a narrow 1 gang workbox. And when I first got this, I was like, wow, this is not much different than this. To be honest, I needed it to be thin. The measurements online did tell me what it was, but I thought the measurements might have been wrong online, but they are not. It is actually 2 inches thick. So you got 2 3/4 and 2 inches here. Not much of a difference. And then it goes way out. This goes behind the wall, and I think the inside and everything else is pretty much the same, but lots and lots of space on the side. Don't kind of understand this design, the wires go in here, but I guess this would work for some cases, but in my case it's still way too thick. So found some other ones. Obviously these are very similar. This is for kind of new work, but the place that I had this, even though it was old work, I was still able to access the stud, so I figured I could probably make it work. Maybe I wouldn't be able to get the full tab in there, but I could maybe put a screw in from the side. Tried this first metal one. Lots of great options here. Punch outs down here and up here, and there's also, I thought there was a punch out in the back, but there is not. There's a couple of holes for various things, and then your grounding screw. So this is thickness wise 28 millimeters, so that's just about an inch, maybe a little bit more than an inch, by about 3 3/4 of an inch, total with the mounting hardware on the side. That is 6 1/4, and inside, what's that, 1 7/8. Back to millimeters, go like this. Inside is 46.80 millimeters by 75.27. So this might work for you. For my project, I decided not to use this. It just didn't, if I had to cut this, it'd just be a lot more work. But I decided not to go for this, and I looked at this one next, and this is very similar in thickness, but it might be a little bit thicker. Let's see, 31.5, oh, 31.73 roughly. Obviously Depends on how hard I push it. Yeah, that is definitely a little bit thicker. So this is about 1 1/4 inch thick. And this is very lightweight. Inside measurements, 56.94 by 74.08. So outside measurement of here is 60.44 by 91.95. All right, so then you have a very small punch out where you push the wire through there on the top and on the bottom, nothing on the sides. And then you can screw in, it looks like here or here, and then there's no way to break these off, but I could definitely cut these off and maybe screw in from the side. So this could definitely work for me, but then I actually came across, so this, let me back up real quick, that the thickness of this worked for me. This 1 1/4 inch was perfect, but I wanted to see if there's any other options out there. And one thing to keep in mind, obviously you gotta make sure the switch or the outlet is a very narrow outlet that can fit into this 1 1/4 inch thickness. And you wanna make sure the wires will be able to work in there and not get cramped. But they also have this one, which is pretty much the exact same measurement. It is the exact same measurements of this, but this is a kind of like an old work box. But the issue with this, when you have like drywall and stuff, these screws are so close to the edge, it just won't really hold permanently or very well, even if you can get some smaller screws in there and don't split that drywall. And if it was wood or something harder, so I did put some wood in the back of the drywall, and it seems to be holding pretty well with a harder backing on here. And I also didn't want the wires coming in from the top or the bottom, so I actually drilled a hole in the back and then put in a one of those little electrical protectors to protect the wire, and then had the wires come in from the back. And then it fit perfectly in here. Nothing was tight or binding, and it looks great in the project that I'm working on. I'll switch over to some B-roll so you can see that. And this is what I ended up with, but I thought it would just be helpful to compare these really quick so you can make a decision on what might work for your project. Obviously, I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of negative comments because I've done something wrong, but that's okay. So definitely leave some constructive feedback so we can definitely learn from each other. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. I hope this video was helpful. If you guys want more information or pricing, definitely check out my Amazon affiliate link right up there. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys on the next one.